obviously this was a
this
Trombowski opening. So take, this is playable. Let's say black started with knight f6 first move, knight f6, bishop g5, and then d5. D5 is actually the best move if you have played knight f6.
Usually, you know, Yanis, I would like to say something in this bishop g5 move without knight f6. Maybe later. Okay, you explain this later.
So, okay, sure. So knight f6, bishop g5. This is a Trombowski opening. I have played it many times with white, and almost every time I'm winning for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, bishop g5. I will tell you that the worst move by far for black here is knight e4. This, which is quite popular, but in my opinion, this is clearly the worst move. It is, as we say, it is playing in white's hands. Now, this is very good, and h4 is quite interesting, played many times by Serbian Grandmaster Igor Miladinovic, who used to play for the national team of Greece for many years. H4 or bishop f4, and white has very good play. Black has counter chances, but this is exactly what white is intending, to get an active game with not theory, with no much theory. So knight e4 is the worst move in my opinion. This e6 is quite possible, but theoretically the best move is d5. This and we get the position from the game. So this after knight f6, this type of position will not transpose to any queen's gambit. Don't be afraid. This is an independent opening after knight f6. In case white goes here, for example, black will not play e6 entering the queen's gambit because he doesn't have to. She will play c5 or knight e4.
Yeah.
I will tell you another thing. This move order, in this particular move order, this is a very interesting move.
That's what I was going to say.
This is a very interesting move, probably the best move. And now two ways to go, here and here. After bishop f4, there is this very interesting possibility, pawn sacrifice. Now maybe even take directly or play knight c6 first. And black has very active counterplay for the pawn. For example, if knight f3, black can probably play such a move, bishop g4 or something. So this is an interesting possibility. This was supposed to be a good move, but in reality, black here has a fantastic move in his disposal. And after this move, it's really hard for white to even equalize, in my opinion. It's this move. This is the best move, intending knight f5 with gain of tempo. And black has very good counterplay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I really wonder what white was intending to do after f6, probably bishop f4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she will play bishop f4.
So you wanted to suggest this,
yes?
So next time you go first and then Yanis, because...
No, it's okay, because he explains very nice. This line, actually, I play also with white, and I never play against d4, d5, bishop g5 because of this line.
Because of f6, yes.
Because this line is, I think, the refutation of this.
I think so too.
Maybe I'm saying, I mean, refutation, maybe
exaggerating a bit, maybe,
but
yes.
It's actually equalizing very easily.
So bishop takes f6, and now I will tell you that both moves are very good and playable. This is a bit more solid, but also very good. In the game, this move was played, e3 and c5 and c3. I think c3 is a bit passive. The best move here is c4, as far as I know. White has to be active. Black has two very strong bishops. Now they do not look very strong, but in a few moves they will be very strong. But black has slightly destroyed pawn structure, and white has this square available for the queen. This may become very useful in many lines. Generally, though, I would prefer to have the black pieces here, absolutely. I will tell you that in case of c4 directly, there is a very nice idea for black, and black immediately gets the upper hand. This tremendously strong move. White takes, and now d4. This is very effective for black, because now the bishop from f8 has no counterpart, and it becoming a real monster because all the dark squares are quite weak.
Yeah.
So generally, white has to be very careful when he plays these lines. c5, c3, knight c6 here, and I don't like bishop d3 at all. After e5, obviously, to me it's obvious that black is already better. These e3 and c3 moves, you see, and queen h5, These c3, e3 moves are very passive, and black's bishops are very strong. There is absolutely no threat by white. She doesn't threaten to take on h7 because the bishop will stay there pinned forever, and the queen. So black plays here, and she's already almost winning, I would say.
Really?
Yes, yes, much better. After queen b6, yes, everything is under attack. These moves c3, e3, and d4. These moves are made in order to keep the balance, to keep the position very solid, but the position is not solid at all. Black is attacking directly. Theoretically, white should play this, but then you play c3 and e3, and you intend to have a pawn on d4 forever.
Yeah.
You know, as I say, this c3 and e3 remind me of an empty hug. You know, you want to hug somebody, but it has left. You want to hug d4 pawn, but d4 pawn is not there. Okay.
Yeah.
So queen h5, queen b6, b3, and black is already winning.
Nice description.
Yes.
You're right. You are opening your arms like this.
Yes, and nobody
This is c3,
yes,
this
yes,
is e3.
but nobody is inside.
And where is d4?
Yes.
Nobody is
I
there.
mean, you made everything, you got everything ready in order to open your arms and hold the other person. You know, you played c3, e3, and just to keep a pawn on d4, and all of a sudden this pawn has let you go. So knight takes d4, probably is winning by force for black.
Yeah, here, yeah.
In case of c d4, queen takes bishop check, and obviously this move, the king is very safe, or even king d8. King d8 might even be better, I don't know.
To keep the bishop open.
Yes, this is winning for black because the king is very safe on e7. White doesn't have a dark square bishop, that's the reason. Black has, it is actually white who has great weakness on the dark squares. So here, black had to settle, white had to settle in a position with one pawn down. Now knight c6 was played, threatening knight f4, and knight e2, and black is a pawn up.
She played very well this.
Yes, as Ivan would say, pawn up. So,
yeah, but with a strong voice.
Yes.
Pawn up.
Pawn up.
Yeah.
So, black is much better with good chances to win.
Okay. Dear chess friends, we are back again, and we go to the game of Anastasia Bodnaruk versus Lilith Mirkitcan. Okay, there is actually an interesting position. Let's see.
The French Open is very popular in this tournament and very popular in general. As far as I know, the French opening is the opening with the best percentage for black, the best score for black within every chess opening against e4. The French Opening has the best, statistically the best results in all the games that are in the database.
The best results for black?
Yes, for black. The best than any other opening. Yes, than Sicilian, than e4, e5 and everything. This can be explained mathematically quite easily why this is happening.
Why?
But maybe we should because black gets a solid game and he avoids miniatures. In every other opening he doesn't avoid miniatures. This tends to avoid miniatures. The game keeps on going and going, and this is why black gets better results other than these attacking openings like Sicilian and everything.
But what about, for example, if you compare it with the strong opponents against the strong opponents?
Yes, then it may change, but we're talking
change,
yes, but we're talking statistically because somebody may play. You may find all of a sudden 100 games where white has 2500 rating and black has 1300 rating. So the result is 100-0. But this will happen also vice versa. So if we put all of this together and we get statistic results.
Yeah.
Also, the French defense is not played as often as the Spanish or the Sicilian. This also helps black because black tends to have slightly less good results than white. For example, let's say e4, a5 first move. This has been played in only 100 games, and it just happened that black was much better. He wanted to have fun, a much better player, and so black may have a tremendous score with e4 and a5.
Doesn't mean it's the best move, yes.
But then the sample is very small, just 100 games. So the smaller it is, the results tend not to be exactly accurate.
Accurate, yeah.
Yes.
And of course, many top grandmasters have French defense in their
Yes.
repertoire,
Yeah.
at least occasionally.
So let's have a look why the French defense is so good. So knight c3 has been played. I think I remember the ex-world champion V.C. Anand, who used to say that knight c3 is White's only serious attempt for an advantage in the French. Those were his words. So knight f6, this is also playable, of course, and very common. Bishop b4. So knight f6, e5. Another move, another playable move here is bishop g5 for White. Here knight fd7, f4. This is also a playable possibility in order after c5 to play c3 and control the center, but on the other hand the knights are a bit clumsy here, duplicating each other. So this is the most usual continuation. c5, knight f3. As we have already discussed in a previous round, this would have been a mistake. This would have been a mistake because c takes d4 and now knight c6, and black, because this bishop is very vulnerable, White should move back and black has won a tempo. So knight f3 is the move, knight c6, bishop e3, a6, they also play bishop e7 or queen b6 or c takes d4, a6, queen d2, White can even play bishop e2 or even bishop d3 as far as I know, queen d2 is quite normal, b5 and queen f2. For the moment, White cannot castle long. This would have been a huge mistake, positional mistake, because black has a very strong and very fast attack. If the c pawn is gone, then White can castle long. For example, in such a position, this is a very normal move. Generally, in these lines, I prefer to castle short, and I advocate. I'm not an e4 player. Very rarely I play e4, but whenever I face such a position in Briç games or everything, or whenever I teach such a position, I advocate lines with short castling for White. Anyway, queen f2 has been played, queen a5. In case of c4, now this is a positional mistake by black this time. White will not, of course, castle long. She or he will play bishop e2 and castle short. Now the king is very safe on g1, and this attack is rather pointless. It is not aiming against the king. White will strike in the center and on the king side with f5 or even g4 and f5. Let's have a look, by the way, on this position. Let's suppose black goes here and White plays this move.
Yeah.
I have heard many times from players without too much experience saying or believing that after h5 black has a great gain because he has opened the h line. This is not true because White has space advantage in the center, so black cannot drive, cannot carry his forces, move his forces to the king side. You see, it's very difficult for these pieces to come to the king side. This bishop can never participate in the attack. Also, the queen doesn't have access to h4 square. This knight is impossible to come, so this rook is actually alone. So after some moves, White's king is very safe, and after some moves may White occupy this, move the knight from d1 to f2, and White may occupy the h line. Exactly. So black cannot attack by just the rook here.
Yeah.
White is better.
It's just optically.
Yes,
but
exactly.
There is no, as forces on this side, and also you will probably it's even bet to open up this line.
Of course, it's probably it's even bad. Yes. Yeah. Here. How about this? I wonder. Is this possible? Check.
C3.
And here, I always wonder about such continuations.
But you never get the answer.
I took a night sip of my coffee and played the coffee house move. Queen takes a2. I suppose that after this check, White can play here. I really don't know. I have many questions. How about this move now? Probably it's going to fail, but.
And what if just castle?
Then I take on c2. I don't know. Yes, or maybe here. This can also be played. Yes. And if check king f1, yes. Or maybe just castle, or maybe even take here. So my idea has failed.
But why
What
not?
about Queen A2 again?
Yes.
Yes, that was
Yes.
my question.
He didn't answer this.
Yes.
He's always wondering. We started to wonder as well.
I don't know.
He sees that he doesn't know. Good question.
Yes, no easy answer.
Yeah.
B3 check, a very primitive move, but how to deal with it?
You found something that you don't know, Yanis.
Yes. Yes.
B3.
So,
I guess why not knight C3?
yes. You said,
Knight
yeah, I don't
C3.
know it, but actually it was me who indicated this B3 and queen takes
Yes,
A2 idea, yes?
Knight
That's the
C3.
idea.
So knight c3,
Yes.
yes.
So, knight C3. In case of C3, we already shown this, and I think black is better,
Knight
let's
C3,
say.
B takes
Yes.
C2.
Knight C3, again, black gets a good game, I suppose.
You take the pawn.
Either take on C2 or play this knight b4 move. Yes.
Yeah.
So you see, my idea with queen takes A2 is actually,
Working.
I don't know, it's
You
actually
don't-
quite playable. Hmm?
Why she didn't play that?
I don't know.
And
Maybe she missed queen takes A2. I don't know.
Very interesting, actually. B3.
I have seen such an idea a few times. To be honest, this was not exactly my idea. I indicated immediately this queen takes A2 because I happen to know this idea. And
Nobody
in
played.
case of, yes, of knight d2, now we cannot sacrifice here because he takes a knight b3, but many other good moves here, and black is winning immediately.
Yeah.
So what is going on here? Maybe she missed a chance, I really don't
She
know.
missed a chance to win a pawn, maybe.
To win a pawn, yes, because after here queen takes, this might be only move, but I don't see any serious compensation for,
Yes.
for white.
And this pawn will be a very important pawn because you will push A5, A4, A3
Yes, yes, of course.
with a pawn on. You
Maybe
know.
she missed a chance, I really don't know what your computer may tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
They check this game. Maybe they may tell us from chess 24.
Well, yes. Some good grandmaster indicates queen takes A2, which we have already covered. Yes, this is the idea.
They say
So-
it's playable. Yes.
And not clear answer. So here, bishop c5, castle short. Yes, exchange. Now white would very much like to have the knight on d4, but this knight is in a big distance from d4 square. Let's see what happened. A3, b3, yes. Rook c1. Already, if here black is winning immediately, if you can believe, sometimes chess is so unfair, a knight can win a whole
House.
C1.
a whole army. Knight c1, or here knight d2. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, but we would not expect white to lose in this way. So rook c1 was played. So did actually black miss a good chance? I'm still not 100% sure. Maybe she lost a good chance to get a better position. I don't know.
Exactly.
So knight b3 has been played and bishop d3.
Maybe she saw and she didn't want to. She was afraid of.
Or sometimes we don't evaluate the
Yes.
position correctly,
Yes.
you know. So
Yes. When you play queen a5, I suppose you must have in your mind ideas like b3 check, or maybe you are simply missing something. What can I say? Maybe you are simply missing something. Bishop d3, black decided to castle short because this is not a very safe square, because rook c7 checks are always hanging.
Yeah.
too
So
many
that's why-
pieces on the board still
Yes.
for the king in the middle.
She decided to castle. Ideas with f6 come into mind. And what should white do? Probably, white is thinking, probably develop
The knight.
the knight, yes.
But where?
But where? White's problem now is this bad placed knight on d1, which can be put on e3, but again it doesn't have
Yeah.
great future. Or white is thinking first to include this move, and after knight d4, for example, then move the knight.
Yeah.
So what about the pawn structure? This pawn on d5 looks very strong, yes,
Yes,
for the future?
it's a passed pawn, a potential force in the future, but pawn structure should not be examined alone, because what matters is pawn structure together with the rest of the pieces. Yes, so the most important thing in this position is who has the most active pieces.
So white has this open c file for now.
Yes, and enough time to occupy it.
And
I
also
guess.
better developed, probably.
And bishop on c8 is a
Still.
little bit bad, I guess. So
Maybe a good move for white would be to play here.
Rook c7.
Yes, stopping bishop d7 ideas here.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
If a5, let's say.
Yes, a5 looks
A5,
like reasonable.
yes.
reasonable.
Mhm.
This knight is disturbing me. Rook c. She played rook c7 actually. Your move.
She did.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
a5, yes, indeed looks good.
Why not first rook c3 and then rook c7? Because of knight a5.
Here you say this, yes.
Yeah.
Here. Knight d4, I suppose,
Knight
will be
d4
played.
and now rook c7.
Now rook c7 and
Knight b5 maybe.
knight b5, or maybe not, because I will take it. And
Yes, you will
my
take
knight will go to d4. Maybe still a5, I would suggest. Still a5, intending bishop a6. And occupation of this file may be a bit irrelevant now that the material has been reduced. For example, here, bishop a6, take,
I can't
and
play.
yes, this is not even possible because of
Yeah.
knight e2 check.
Yeah, the king gets
And
the
if
first.
here, yes, a good counterplay for
Yes.
black.
No,
Black is
time,
maybe even
yes.
better now.
Right on time.
Yes, and this pawn finally may become a good asset.
So in this line, knight on d4 is advantage to black.
Yeah.
So
Maybe. The problem for white is this knight on d1, which takes too many moves to get it in a
In the
good
game.
position. That's the real problem. So rook c7. I suppose a5 has to be played.
Yeah, I don't see any other move.
And
Or
now
maybe rook d8.
maybe is it possible to play a move like f5? But I don't really see the meaning of such a move.
Can we play something like rook's knight c3?
And if here,
knight
Maybe
b5.
I'm taking to play knight b4 or take knight b5
knight b5.
to occupy d6 square. I don't know if it's or
Okay, yes. This is very double-edged because on d6 the knight can work together with the rest of the pieces, or it may end up completely irrelevant with the
Yes,
rest of the
yeah.
army. And
or maybe
this
I
can
can
be
think
dangerous.
of playing a4 also
And,
at some
A4.
point.
and
Yes.
how about knight knight a4 instead of knight b5? Take.
and knight a4, you say, yes?
Take knight a4.
Well, the idea is to somehow double on the c file, but maybe rook a8 and rook c8. But we probably succeed to double. And what is this position?
But
Somehow play for the
Just
open
played
file.
a5, yes.
This may be end up completely out of play. Yes, I'm
Yes, this
very
is knight a4.
reluctant to
I
put
don't
the
see
knight
this.
here.
But we want to just double the rooks because where otherwise put the knight, you know.
I will show you another possibility. Maybe after a5 is this move. This is an elegant move. Look.
Threatening bishop h7.
Yes,
Yeah.
and bishop a6 is not possible for the moment. Maybe I win a couple of tempi, for example here. Maybe I win a couple of tempi. Here the idea is not to take this in case you don't see it. Yes,
But
the
if you
idea
don't
is-
see it, you will take it.
of
Yes.
course, yes, definitely. The idea is to be prepared. Yes, now you see.
To go to c3.
Yes, now this is an
Oh,
idea.
nice, very nice.
So maybe h6 is
h6,
better.
yes.
Funny that suddenly some attack out of nowhere. Yes.
Knight f2.
Knight f2, but again, bishop a6. No, I see no problem. Some check is hanging after the bishop exchange.
Yeah, you're
And-
right.
My plan is a bit stupid.
Slow, maybe.
So knight c3, you say, take, and knight a4. This is a move that generally you hesitate to play
Yeah.
because if it is a mistake,
Okay, I see. So maybe really knight b5 just to keep the knight away from d4 square. And then the question is if we can, after let's say rook b8, if we can play just a4 and
A4.
double the rooks,
Yes.
you know.
Here, or maybe rook b6 because this doesn't even have a threat.
Yes, okay.
So rook b6 and now a4, you say,
It's just
or knight d6, a4.
because I want to keep the knight on b3 away from d4, you know.
And maybe somehow occupy
Yes,
the c
yes.
Yes.
line.
And then you will attack the a5 pawn. After you,
Yes.
you occupy the C line, you have the chance to play rook A7 at one point.
So black can exchange one pair of rooks, but still the c file
how
will...
you-
You mean this, with this move?
Yes, for example, but the c file will always be there for white, so...
There is also this possibility, though, this possibility.
Yeah,
this
this
may
possibility.
become weak, but until then, black can maybe
But
push
this looks
d4.
good. I think this is the maybe better idea to play it A4.
But look, this is another receptacle.
Are you sure?
But I cannot see any better way for
Black.
black to play anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, something was played after rook c7? I guess not, yes?
Yes, a5 was played,
Yeah,
as expected,
she's-
a5.
Okay.
Okay, many options
Yeah,
now for
sure.
white, so probably
Let's go
something...
to Jovanka Voska from England versus Anastasia Paramzina from Russia.
So let's see the game from the beginning very fast. So it was this Greenfeld, once again, this Greenfeld with Janjet, Slav Greenfeld. B3 is popular due to the efforts of famous grandmaster from Israel, Boris Avruch, who has written a great book about these lines as white, a very inspiring book for many grandmasters. So
I
bishop
think here also there is a very popular move for black. Take on c4 and play c5.
and play c5, yes. This is covered very well
Yeah.
in his books.
Yeah.
So bishop f5, the most
I think
positional
this
approach.
equalizes this line. Maybe it's a long variation.
Yes, but you know, there are a few
Some
games that are
sometimes.
played and it is still
Still
playable.
playable.
Yes.
Okay.
So knight c3, yes. Take bishop e4. Black is quick to play this move and neutralize the bishop from g2. e3. White's idea, as in this game, is to play this and knight d2 and gain the advantage of the two bishops. So black decided to take, and now black has a solid but a bit passive game. Generally, I like this type of positions very well. We can say that strategically there are two ways to handle the openings as white when we are talking about positional play. In one, or even tactical play, in one type of play, white tries to get a very small advantage, like here, and give black almost no play at all. White doesn't have much anyway, but black has zero. Or you can play like in an open Sicilian, when white has too much, black also has too much, but slightly less, theoretically. So I prefer to play this type of position where I have a very small advantage or chances for a very small advantage, but my opponent doesn't have absolutely anything. And then I try to increase the advantage little by little and keep my opponent without having anything. The problem is that many games end in a draw this way. So a5.
Like Carlsen in a way.
Like Carlsen, yes, but in a much worse version.
By the way,
So-
did you see the ending yesterday?
Yes,
He
I saw
won,
it.
he won.
He won. He won. Yes,
Very
he
easily.
won. He won.
Actually.
This endgame with an exchange up, which let's say similar endgame was won by Kasparov against Karpov in their match in Lyon many years ago, and all the theoreticians at that time would say that this is a draw.
Yeah.
But Kasparov managed to find a way and win this.
And you
this
told
game.
me that this may be a win in 250 moves or something.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yes. Anyway, Carlsen in these positions plays chess from a different planet. So knight e4 I think is better, because look, after a5 white has time to play here and regroup the pieces. Look, regroup the pieces like this. Was it possible after here to take this first? Let's have a look. White has a small but permanent advantage here. e6, the bishop will come from this diagonal. It has nothing to do there anymore. White occupies the only open file, and white may even want to play this move to stop a4. This move, and white occupies the only open file and has a small but permanent advantage. Very small. Objectively, black wants to put a bishop here and control c7 square. Maybe this would have been interesting. So here, white played this, and this is exactly the type of position that I enjoy playing. The knight is very strong on d6 indeed. white plays a4 and is maybe intending to open up the position with b4. This bishop many times has a future from g3 square. This is very typical. f3, g4 and bishop g3. Maybe for the moment it's too early to play like this, because tactic play with e5 may follow. Now that I see f3, I can play e5 because the weakness of the isolated pawn on d5 is compensated by the weakness of e3 square. But this f3, g4, bishop g3 idea is open for the future. So, yes, white found a different way to play. Here, how about this move? I have the feeling that after here, white would have played this move directly, and then h5 next move.
Attacking on the king
yes,
side.
But maybe it's not so clear, because this is possible,
right.
and the knight is going to f6.
Yeah, now it's good actually for black.
Yes, or maybe here, who knows, here and double the rooks.
You're right.
I think h5 was probably playable anyway. Here, now she gave very easy play. And g4 has been played, I think. Yes. If here black is much worse, almost losing after g5. Yes. If knight g4, now f3 wins the knight. So h5 has been played, rook here, and bishop f3. White has a, let's say, small but maybe even a big advantage, big and permanent advantage. Her idea might be to play even this at some moment and h6 to gain a lot of space. Or the idea may be king g2 and transfer the play on the h line, even with one rook.
Can I play g5 for black?
Well, this might be possible also.
Then this g4, h5,
Yes,
if I
yes.
play h6. But
That-
maybe you play bishop g2 and f4 or something. But f4 not possible.
Not,
here.
not maybe, yes, f4 might be possible. Or I switch now to the queen side. You know, I put the bishop here and f3, here f3, bishop d3, ideas like this. This
But you could have switched to queen side anyway.
Anyway.
Why do you need this?
because this, I'm not sure about this g5.
g4, yes, g4. I
Okay,
don't like
okay, g4 maybe, but also g5 also is causing some problems. For the moment, queen b6 has been played. Actually, queen b6 has been played instead of g5.
Yeah.
Yes, this is an interesting move in order
So also
to
take-
exchange queens wherever.
Yeah.
You see this, and now it's white to play. Okay, and there is a threat. These threats are annoying. To take and win b3 pawn.
Yeah.
I guess.
What about g5 now, for example?
Let's
Queen d3 is a bit.
g5. You say yes, but
I don't know if she pushed to g4. She's intending to push on g5.
yes. Here, but knight e4 might be annoying.
Yeah, knight e4.
Maybe it's better to control all
First
the
knight,
central
yes,
squares and
probably
see what
better,
happens. But black also has this idea now.
Yeah.
Of course, this is important to exchange
Actually,
one
I
bishop.
don't like what white did here
Yes.
too much.
Is it maybe possible to play this move? This might be one possibility. Take. Okay, white is maybe threatening to take and take on a5 pawn. Maybe, it's not so sure. And I think this is how white should play.
What about bishop b4 now?
Bishop b4.
Let's say.
And now I think probably I can take.
And now what?
And now either play g5 and h6 or play b6, knight d7, rook c7.
But doesn't it look like that is just a little bit more exposed and getting not much?
White, you think? Yes.
White, yes.
Yes, I don't
Let's
like
say I do this,
Knight d7 immediately.
or even, and then rook c7, or even this might be
Rook
actually
c3.
very strong here.
Yes.
This very strong, because if take, the rook will protect from c8 the pawn, and the knight is ready to go to d7 and win a pawn.
Collect b6, yeah. Yeah, I don't like what actually this idea g4, h5. Maybe she should have tried to play on the queen side, to put the pieces in a better position.
You're right. In the end, this g4 didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah.
Not enough time for white to play on the h line.
I don't like what she did. Now she's thinking, I don't know how much time she has
Queen
on her
D3,
clock, probably
and
for a long time.
Black should definitely play this to exchange these bishops. Yes. And maybe white should now play simply this and bishop here, for example. Then I see some.
You could have taken also with the A pawn.
The A pawn is possible.
This
yes.
is also possible.
Or with the queen, which is also
Queen
active.
also good, yeah.
Yes. There is absolutely no attack for white. I think to play this and it is a bit pointless.
Maybe not E8, not
Yes,
E6.
you're right. This is very good. Intending to come here.
To A5 also.
Only this way. But no,
E4.
not so much material left, and white is overpressing, and he will end up worse with all these pawns here.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, maybe some perpetual, yes, taking on d6.
Sure. So I think black stands fine here after all.
Okay, we go to the game or to the board 11. Elena Semenova from Russia versus Nurgül Salimova. And this game is the last game of the group of 6.5 points. Let's see this game.
So, just a second. Okay.
All of these players, they have the chance to participate to World Championship if they win, or even if they
draw,
make draw,
yes,
depending of the average of the percentage of the rating. We asked the arbiters. They said the first criteria in order of a tie is to look to the average rating, the opponent's average rating. You played with together.
Now in this tournament, always stakes that in the last day is very, very high. So every half point will make a huge difference for these players.
So let's check. Knight f6, d3, bishop e7. As we have already said, a totally playable variation for black. In my opinion, preferable than bishop c5. So a4. A few months ago, me and Jan were together in Kocaeli commending the games of the World Championship for girls under 20, and there was this very good player from Georgia, Miss Homeriki, who played in this tournament many games with this line as black. 4 games I think she played with this line, and she had very good results. She even annotated one game with us together in live commentary, and she would choose this plan always: d6, rook e1 and king h8. That was her choice in every game. And then she would either play knight g8 and f5 or h6, knight h7 and f5. And she got very good positions and scored many points. Later I checked the database and she had played even more games with it.
Yes.
So she has huge experience. And in this game, black chose this king h8 is actually a very nice and very interesting move, intending knight g8 and f5. Black gets very good active piece play. For example,
what about h3, for example? Now?
Yes, if h3, generally whenever we see h3, this is the best move. h6 and knight h7.
And can I now switch on d4? Because you have a very passive position.
Yes, but I can take on e4 then maybe. I can take on e4.
Take on d5,
yes, yes. So let's say white goes here. Let's say white goes here. Black goes knight g8. This has been played a few times.
Now d4 maybe.
Whenever we see a5, a6 is the move. So d4, but this is clearly the best move for white here. Otherwise, after a move like knight bd2, I think white is already slightly worse after f5, because white cannot push d4 now. F takes e4, knight takes e4 and d5. You see, this is not possible. Black takes and plays d5, winning material. And also this is not possible, to take and play d4, because white can play once again here, and if take, d5. So